Hey, it's Andre, and today I'm talking about the first 2 episodes of Marvel Studios' What If. So What If is an animated anthology series where the Watcher takes us through the multiverse to let us know what it would be like if some of our favorite Marvel stories from the Marvel movies and shows, if they were slightly changed, if one little thing was different, how that would affect the entire story. Oh, and spoiler alert, this will contain spoilers for the show that I'm talking about. So, spoilers. I guess it's obvious. So the first episode asked, what if Peggy Carter got that super soldier serum instead of Steve Rogers, and instead of having Captain America, we had Captain Carter? Or as I like to call her, Captain THICC. I'm gonna be naughty, I'm sorry, I'm warning you in advance. So this first episode actually plays out kind of like the first Captain America movie, because we get the whole scene where they have the whole device set up. Steve Rogers is about to go in, that secret Hydra agent comes out, Hell Hydra, starts shooting and attacking. But in this version, Steve actually gets injured and can't make it to the machine. And the machine has already started, so if they don't get somebody in there right away, they're gonna lose all of their research, all their work. They will not be able to create a super soldier. So in the last second, Steve's like, Peggy, get up in there. So Peggy jumps in, they close it up. Howard Stark does his thing on the side, and the machine opens, and we get Super Soldier Peggy Carter. And I'm sorry, man, I don't know what it was. I know she animated, don't think weird to me, but when she stepped out all thick with the muscles and all big, I was like, all right now, give me a hug, please. I want a Captain Carter hug. I just want, I'm sorry, y'all. But yeah, man, she's taller, she's bigger, especially when she stands next to old scrawny Steve Rogers, because since he didn't become the super soldier, he's still that little tiny Steve Rogers, remember from the movie before he became Captain America, just walking around like, oh, Peggy, whoa. And she's all like, hello there, Steve. I'm Captain Carter. But just like they wouldn't use Steve in battle in Captain America's first movie, they won't use Peggy in battle as well, because not only was she not the person they picked to be the super soldier, also don't want her because she a woman. Howard Stark like, I got something for you, Peggy. And she rolled up with that shield with the British logo on it. Captain Carter proves what she's capable of by going in and getting the Tesseract from Hydra and bringing it back to base. But just like in that first Captain America movie when Bucky and his crew got caught and they had to rescue them, Peggy gets a crew together and they're like, we going in, we gonna save Bucky. Got our whole suit and everything, knocking everybody out, throwing that shield everywhere, punching, kicking, looking awesome. And but Howard Stark's like, nah, I got some backup for you too, Captain Carter. We get a giant, like, prototype Iron Man, Ironmonger suit coming down and helping out as well. The Tesseract inside of the machine, and he calls it the Hydra Stomper. And inside that suit, scrawny Steve Rogers. So with that classic music going on, we get to see some cool montages of Captain Carter fighting, Captain Carter and Iron Steve working together. And even though Steve is scrawny Steve, and even though Peggy is thick Peggy, they still got that romance going. She still wants that dance. I want to see how that dance is going to go. Like, is Steve going to have to stand on her feet so he can get up high enough? And she's all like, I will love him and pet him and call him Steve. She's just so thick and I love it. We also get that snow train scene from the movie. Bucky doesn't fall off this time. I especially love that when Peggy says Bucky, he was like, oh, I almost lost my arm there. I'm like, see, I get it. Reference, you're not the Winter Soldier this time. But this time, Steve in his whole suit goes down and they think he's dead, but he's actually just captured by the Red Skull and Hydra. Yeah, Red Skull's still up in this too, even using the Tesseract to open up a portal. But this time, a giant tentacle thing comes out. So Peggy, Steve, Bucky, Howard Stark, they all gotta work together to get this giant monster back before it gets bigger and tries to take over. But it just keeps getting harder and harder to fight. Peggy has to make the ultimate sacrifice. She has to push the monster back into the portal. And in doing so, that means she got to hold it, which means she got to go inside of it. So Peggy goes in and she's gone. Cut to years later where Nick Fury and Hawkeye open a portal up just like in the first part of the Avengers movie. But this time, instead of seeing a Loki, we see a Peggy Carter. Captain Carter pops out. She's all like, what year is this? And they're like, oh, hey, what's up, Peggy? So like, you kind of been gone for about like 70 years. So this was her frozen moment. She never got that dance, y'all. Just like Captain America woke up in present day, now Captain Carter comes out of the portal in present day. Really cool story. Obviously, it plays out like an abridged version of the first Captain America movie, except this time with Peggy Carter as the captain, and Steve is her sidekick in a giant mech outfit. But it was still a fun story, and I gotta say, I like the idea of a Captain Carter, and I definitely like the look of a Captain Carter. So I would love to see a sequel to this. Like, if Bucky got saved and didn't become the Winter Soldier in this version, then who is Captain Carter's Winter Soldier? Think about it. What if? And before we get into the next episode of What If, here's a what if for you. What if you wanted to be on the internet and keep your data protected? This video is sponsored by Surfshark. There's no question that in this past year, we have spent more time on the internet at home, working from home, making online calls, streaming movies and TV shows, shopping online, multiplayer gaming, all while wearing our pajama pants. But more time on the web means more time for trackers, hackers, and data thieves to sell, advertise, spam, or worse. Surfshark is a virtual private network, or VPN, to keep you safe and secure online. They hide your IP address by allowing you to connect to the internet through various servers all around the world, and they have tools like Clean Web to track suspicious ads, viruses, and malware. Even Surfshark won't have access to you because they have a strict no logs policy. They just want to keep you safe while surfing cyberspace. Is cyberspace still a thing that people say, or is that more of a 90s thing? Are they still sending out AOL discs? And if you connect to Surfshark in some countries, you may even have access to some movies and TV shows on streaming services that you don't have in your own country. One Surfshark account can be used across multiple devices. So click the link in the description to sign up for Surfshark, and sign up for Surfshark using my code BNC. You get 83% off plus 3 extra months for free. Keep surfing the web and keep wearing your pajama pants. Thanks, Surfshark. And now the second episode of Marvel Studios' What If. So the second episode, we are asked the question, what if T'Challa was taken as a young boy instead of Peter Quill and T'Challa became Star-Lord? Apparently, it will create the best timeline of all time. For the most part. So obviously this episode got me in the feels because we get to hear Chadwick Boseman doing the voice of T'Challa in this episode. Marvel Studios has already said that there are going to be other episodes with T'Challa in it, different versions of T'Challa, but this is the last time we're going to see Chadwick Boseman play the role in Black Panther, is in What If. So even though it's animated, even though we're just getting his voice as opposed to seeing him on screen, just still awesome to have that moment. And I love that they have a little thing at the end to give him a dedication. But I'm gonna try to switch emotional gears here because even though I felt those feels of hearing his voice again, I have to say this episode is freaking hilarious. So you know how like no one liked or even knew Peter Quill was Star-Lord in his version of the story? In this universe, T'Challa is like a celebrity. Like Star-Lord is loved by everyone. They even redo the scene at the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy where he goes to try to get the orb that has the Infinity Stone inside and Korath stops him. You know, Jemima Hansu shows up. But this time, he doesn't go, who? Korath immediately is like, it's Star-Lord! Do you see it? It's Star-Lord! Oh, I get to fight Star-Lord! This is a great day! He is such a fanboy for Star-Lord. He's like, should I use the gun? How do you want to do this? How do you want to fight? I am just so happy to be able to fight the great Star-Lord! Classic Star-Lord! He even gets a punch in, and he's like, oh, was that too rough? Should I throw my punches? And T'Challa's like, do not throw your punches. It's just so great to see him switch up from who to big-time fan. I love that he's even like, look, I have to do this because of my boss, but I'll switch sides if you need me to. Like, I'll work for you if you got an opening. And even though T'Challa beats Korath, he's like, I guess we could have one more, and brings him along. So now Korath gets to join the Ravagers. The other soldiers try to stop T'Challa, but they don't do it because a Ravager never flies solo. I said a Ravager never flies solo. I know that's a cheap joke, silly bit, but I liked it. And of course, that's when we get that, I can't whistle. Yondu, you know, with the arrow. Shh, leave me alone. I wish I knew how to whistle. I don't. I'm not perfect. We then get the backstory to see how T'Challa became Star-Lord. So in the original Guardians of the Galaxy, Yondu went and got Peter Quill. But in this version, Yondu told the other Ravagers to go get Peter Quill, and they messed up. As you remember, Peter Quill is part alien because Ego, the living planet, was his daddy. So they were looking for a cosmic energy to find Peter Quill. Wakanda has a bunch of vibranium, which means that it has a large cosmic energy. So the Ravagers went there instead, saw young T'Challa, picked him up. Yondu even shows a picture of young Peter Quill next to T'Challa and is like, do they even look alike to you? And then I think it was Taserface was all like, hey, all humans look alike. Is that insulting or progressive? And the whole reason why T'Challa even got taken away in the first place, because his daddy told him, you gotta stay in Wakanda, But T'Challa got all Disney princess on him, was like, I want more, and walked outside them barriers, and that's when he got swooped up. But T'Challa stays with the Ravagers over time, becomes part of their team, but you know T'Challa, he's that diplomatic person, always got them speeches, always got those other ways of thinking. So over time, the Ravagers go from becoming criminals to being basically intergalactic Robin Hoods. They steal from the rich, they give to the poor to help others, so that's why they're beloved across the galaxy. And some other Guardian stories have changed up because of this. So Drax never lost his family in this version. T'Challa actually stopped the attack that would have killed his family. So Drax is working at this bar and he's all like, I will take a picture with you. And they take a picture. He's like, we have to do it again. I look amazing. You look kind of ugly. So we must do it again to help you because I always look amazing. Gotta love that Drax. Nebula is not have robotic parts in this one. She's got a little thing over her eye, but now she's like full body, got a blonde hair flowing. And maybe it was just me, but I think T'Challa and Nebula had a little thing going on because they were all kind of flirting with each other. Nebula even had a little nickname for T'Challa, was calling him Cha-Cha the whole time. She's like, I'll see you later, Cha-Cha. I was like, oh, we get some black and blue going on right now. Once you go black, you never go back. Once you go blue, that's all you do. But the thing that got me the most, Thanos. Thanos is a good guy in this universe. He apparently had a conversation with T'Challa. Hey, Thanos, that whole thing that you trying to do, wipe out half the universe, that's genocide. Here's other ways that we can help out the universe, get everyone the resources they need without taking out half of the universe. And Thanos is like, all right, I guess so. I'll roll with you. But I love the entire time he's like, but listen though, if we just wiped out half the universe, that would work. That would be efficient. And everyone's like, dude, that's genocide. He's like, oh, you guys never let me have any fun. And I know there's gonna be some critics out there being like, oh, come on. Thanos gets turned over by T'Challa talking to him. There's no way T'Challa could have done that. Thanos would have never easily swayed that quickly. Look, it's called What If. That's the whole point of the series. What if? These are scenarios of what would happen if this happened. It's not meant to be seen as serious. None of this is meant to be seen as, y'all know this is not real, right? Like, we do understand this ain't actual history. So Nebula's not all messed up. Drax has his family. Thanos did not wipe out half the universe. This is the best timeline. This is all we need to do. All we had to do was replace Peter Quill with T'Challa and all of a sudden everything is good? Dang it. So far. So we find out that in this universe, the big bad is actually the Collector. He even has the Black Order working for him. And the reason why no one wants to mess with the Collector is because he literally collects like everyone. Like if he likes you, you getting in a cage, you getting collected, you trapped forever. And one of the things that the Collector wants to add to his collection, he's like, I ain't got no black man up in here. I got ducks and dogs and dark elves, but I ain't got no... Let me stop. T'Challa and the Ravagers were like, we ain't never going near the Collector. And Nebula's like, but here's the thing. I want to break into there. And they're like, what? They got this thing called the Embers of Genesis. It's like this super plant. You plant it and just all of a sudden it goes full Jack and the Beanstalk on you. This could turn a desert planet into a forest planet. This could provide food to millions of people in the universe. We got to go get that thing. It just happens to be right now in the Collector's hands. Let's just break in and get it. And Yondu's like, no! And T'Challa's like, I will do it. And it's wild, man. It's totally like heist style. There's double crosses. There's triple crosses. T'Challa teams up briefly with Howard the Duck. And Howard was all helping T'Challa out so he saw he can get that drink. He's like, hey, sorry, I'll keep going. I'm gonna go drink right now. And then we get like a full Superman Man of Steel moment where T'Challa finds a Wakanda ship and it has like a little hologram of his dad in there. So Yondu told T'Challa, oh, a war took out all of Wakanda. That's why you can't go home. Turns out that was a lie. T'Challa finds out inside of this ship that Wakanda is still alive and well, his family is still alive, and they've actually been looking for him this entire time. They were doing a full tangle. So of course T'Challa gets mad at Yondu, and Yondu was like, I was protecting you, and this, that, and the other. Double cross, triple cross. But of course, everything that looks like it's all messed up, it was actually according to plan. Like Nebula turned it back on them, but that was actually part of the plan to get T'Challa in a certain place so he can fight the Collector, and we get to see the Collector and T'Challa go up against each other, and the Collector's all like beefed up now. Now he's thick, and he's all like, I got you forever, T'Challa. T'Challa's like, history has shown not to be kind to people who like to put others in cages. And you see the Collector's like pink slave girl with the pigtails being like, that's a good point. So you get to see this big fight with T'Challa and the Collector. They even get that Wakanda music coming in, that whoop, 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 whoop. But T'Challa defeats the Collector. He even gets a little bit of help from the Collector's slave girl, because she's like, I like what you said there about not having us locked up. I'm down with that. Oh man, and that girl messed the Collector up, because not only did they have the Collector trapped up, but she had a little device that opened up all the cages. So she released everybody, and they got him right in the center. And she opened that door up, and everybody walk in, and they went full Lion King hyenas against Scar on him. They just all came in like, rah! Even Thanos has an heroic moment to help Nebula out. It was just a really cool thing, because this is the best timeline. They even dropped the embers of Genesis on the planet Nowhere, which is like completely deserted, a mess, just nothing but dirt. And now that little skull planet got trees and limbs and beanstalks coming out everywhere. Look at how pretty. This is the best timeline. So Yondu apologizes to T'Challa for lying to him. He just really cared about him, loved having him as part of his family. In this universe, T'Challa got his father and his daddy. But he realized that T'Challa probably wants to go back home, so they go back to Wakanda. But T'Challa's cool. He's like, come on in. He even covers for Yondu. Now we got the Ravagers and the Wakanda people just hanging out together, having a party. Thanos is still trying to convince people that his kill off half of the universe idea is great. And they're like, dude, that's genocide. No one understands me. I just wish that at one point someone just went, oh, Thanos. TGIF. We get a lovely scene with T'Challa talking to his parents about how they're so great that he's back and how much he's done for the universe. And it's just this beautiful moment, and everyone's bonding. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is the universe I want to be in. This is the best timeline. This is the MCU that we want. Until this is like such a Twilight Zone freaking M. Night Shyamalan twist. Like everything is going so well this entire episode. And they cut to that Dairy Queen. So now we see what happened to Peter Quill, since he never became Star-Lord. He just became the manager of the Dairy Queen. The same Dairy Queen that his dad met his mom years ago. Adult Peter Quill just hanging out, listening to his Walkman, cleaning up the Dairy Queen. He turns around and there's Ego. Kurt Russell Ego just being like, hey son, I think it's time for some bonding. And his eyes all lit up. Oh shoot, because in this universe, since Peter Quill never became Star-Lord, he's probably gonna be a little bit easier swayed by his daddy to do that bonding to allow him to become all planet. So it was the best timeline until you realize, oh yeah, Ego's gonna ruin everything. Ego's gonna take over the whole universe. They're all dead. Dang it, every time we try to move forward, something brings us back. Curse this universe and its multiverse. You can't win in any scenario. I'm really enjoying this show. Kind of just look at it as just some fun stories, even though technically it's canon because it's multiverse and it looks like we're gonna have a multiverse going on. But I just look at this as like, hey, here's some fun twists that we can do to classic stories that you know. I'm also interested in seeing if maybe they do some stories that aren't necessarily based on in the MCU movie. Maybe they do something completely different out of the box entirely, but it was still neat to see the stories I know before with that little twist to see how they do them in this one. And I can't wait to see what the next ones are. So I'll keep watching this series and keep talking about it from time to time. Let me know what you thought about these first 2 episodes of Marvel Studios' What If. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Surfshark, for sponsoring. I'll see you next time. I love you like a play cousin. I'm Outie 5000.